Greetings, everyone. This anniversary sale has revealed a lot of great information. In fact, I'd say even more than CitizenCon. So let's go ahead and get into all the juicy tidbits, discuss the things we liked and didn't like, and of course, do our usual breakdown. Let's get to it. Welcome, everybody, to another week of BlastCast. Once again, with me, as always, is my bastion of common sense, Lightning Dragon. And, of course, we just recently had a discussion on Saturday about the Prowler and how we feel about it. And so we're going to bypass that a little bit and go straight into the rest of the presentation, where they covered basically the Arena Commander, they did some Herald Racing, and, of course, we got to see more Star Marine. Of course, not fully finished. There's some features and stuff not in it, but we'll get into that as well. Of course, during this week, there's a ship sales based upon every day. They're selling something different. And on day 9, on the 26th, they're having a grand finale. And the grand finale sales, a lot of times in the past, have been pretty much everything that was on sale back on sale again. And one day, kind of all thrown together on that. So you'll probably, if you miss one of the previous days, it'll probably be there on the last day on Saturday. So be sure to go back and check out the sales if you're missing anything there. Of course, they had new ship variants for existing models.
Sigh. Sigh.
Well, a lot of this has to do with, you get a different type of ship skin and a different weapon loadout. These ships in and of themselves aren't anything particularly new and off the block. They're just variants.
They're basically the same ship with a different skin and different base equipment, and they want more money.
Well, typically, from what I've seen, like, for example, on the Aegis Gladius, like, they had a fixed weapon on the front instead of the gimbal Gatling, which is fine.
You can't take off normally right now.
Yeah, so that's the thing for me. It's like, a lot of these Aegis ships, since I'm a stick user and there's no actual way to use gimbals worth a damn, I know they have a system in there, but it's actually terrible. This ability to switch this out, hopefully this also extends into the Avenger, because it's been my big gripe with that ship. And if they somehow manage to come up with a way to do that, I'll be a lot happier with the ship. But basically, yeah, it's reskins with some different weapon types. Most times, I like these are a little bit larger or a little bit more specialized, and they're about the same cost, $10, $20 more than the base model. But looking at the cost, like for example on the Gladius, the weapons are larger because they're fixed. If you were to buy the larger weapons and have the difference between like the size 1s versus the size 2s, or size 2 versus the size 3, it probably comes out about the same. So it's not really a big deal. It's kind of nice to see some variety. It's just kind of like we play Armored Warfare, right? So I mean, you've got in that tanks and stuff that come out that have different skins and slightly different stats, and people get them like your gold tanks or whatever. It's something similar to that. It's not really such a big deal.
One of the things that's interesting about this, now that you can swap weapons around, is I remember a long time ago they were not happy about the Avengers' main weapon, and they wanted to change it, make it more like an A10 Warthog, but we have not seen that, and now there's new variants, so it seems like they're sticking with that body design, so maybe, they're fixing just the gimbal nose weapons in general, and rather than, redesign the ship, they're just gonna be like, oh, well, we just fixed it.
Yeah.
I still think it's kind of a dumb position for how it sits, but whatever.
Well, one of the things they did show with that skin system is that they actually went and showed all these different skins and things, how the ships can be modified. And what more is that fleets can design their own fleet skin, and that's actually going to be a code that fleet members can enter in, and their ships will be skinned along the lines of the fleet design aesthetic. So basically, you can have kind of a unified look to your fleet. I think it's really a great idea. A lot of games have like a fleet uniform or something like that, like space games. For example, Star Trek Online, fleets can make fleet uniforms, and that's one of the your costume slots. And when you choose that, you go into wearing whatever fleet uniform you have. It can be denoted by rank or whatnot. I don't know if it's going to go that deep, but it's still nice to see a system like that come into place.
Common to have like logos, like with GTA, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of cool. They were cycling through not only the different the colors and stuff. It looks like like they were able to do shinier versions and things like that. So that's really great. I love seeing that kind of thing, kind of making your ship your own, and I'm looking forward to seeing that fully fleshed out. Of course, we got to see some of the rework on the Cutlass, and I have to admit, I was really impressed with it. I think that it looks, it sits lower to the ground, side doors on it. The back is wider, so you can actually get more stuff in and out of the back. It's thicker. It looks like it's bulkier, but also more condensed. Like it just has this feeling to it that it's closer to the original design aesthetic. The cockpit being wider, so people don't have to squeeze around those chairs. I don't think they're gonna have to slide anymore. It really had a more of a unibody feel, like it was all put together at once. The original Cutlass had this sense of, in my opinion, of being in a similar sense that we always talk about the Hornet being separate parts that were put together. The Cutlass, in some regards, always felt like that to me a little bit. And seeing this new design aesthetic, it seems like it's now finally a unified ship. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this actually handles when it all comes together. And it just really looked impressive, and I'm really looking forward to
flying. A lot more firepower now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to flying in my brother's because he's got the blue. And
I had the blue, but I traded it up for the Taurus, so I had a real cargo ship.
Yeah, completely understandable. And of course, they showed the Caterpillar in much greater detail. They had a nice video that went over all of it and went under it and around it and inside of it. And the ship is really looking impressive. The cockpit, they finally got to see cockpit changes in there. This ship is shaping up to be Star Citizen's square version of the Millennium Falcon. It really has that kind of feel to it. And I think this is going to be an absolutely great cargo ship. My brother also has this one as well. So when this ship comes out, I'll be happy to do a video on that once I convince him to let me
be awesome.
I know
it looks great. It's one of those things that I kind of wanted it for a while, but it's kind of like I can't really justify the price. And then Captain Tyler went and got it, so it's like, well, I definitely shouldn't be buying it now, so we don't have any ship overlap and stuff. But
yeah,
it's looking good.
Yeah,
Origin ships are looking pretty sexy now too. They're redesigning all of the textures for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're going with a very, very, very smooth kind of unified look, like everything
highly
just
reflective,
flows.
very polished.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got wax on it. It is absolutely just when you look at the I think it was the 85X or whatnot.
Yeah, 85X. They're rebuilding all of the Origin ships based on that one because what they did with it came out so nice that they want to apply it to the entire Origin line.
Which is great because I have a 350R and I really would like to see a rework on those ships. To me, it seems like there's a little bit of wasted space on them. It seems like there's a lot of work that can be done to make them more concise. So, yeah, absolutely want to see that. And of course, there was a Capital Ships trailer, and it was nice to see a lot more detail on those. And I tell you what, I looked at the engines on the destroyer, and I don't know why it just fell out of my head, but the
Javelin.
Yeah, the Javelin, and it looks like the little engines on the side of the main engines are like the main engines on the on my ship, so on the Polaris, and it's like they're using obviously repeating assets, which is fine because I think isn't that one also RSI?
No, it's not.
It isn't.
It's Aegis.
It's Aegis.
So the
engines look really similar to the one I have on the Polaris. The ones that
I believe both the Javelin and the Idris are both Aegis. Aegis. The thing what I love most about Aegis is not only did all the ships look great, but if you read on the lore about it, they were a purely military company that they made just nothing but warships, and basically the UE or someone, I don't know if it was the UE, but someone came in and basically like the war is stopped. So it's like, oh well, shit. I guess we're think of like Boeing, right? Boeing used to make lots of military airplanes, and then someone in the government, I forget his name exactly, was like, I don't like Boeing and we're never going to have military contracts again. So all the people at Boeing were thinking like, well, great, we can't make it without military contracts. The company is dead now, but they managed to make it in the civilian market. And that's kind of what Aegis is like, though they still have military backing, but they have very military feel to them, all their ships. And I think that's one of the nice things about it.
Yeah. Well, I've been a fan of Aegis for a while now, but of course we had the new Prowler that was shown, and I'm just going to go ahead and let the video here respond for me. All right, and basically we already did a video on this, and let's put basically this isn't a boarding ship, this is a drop ship, So, and at 425, the previous video we talked about
420. Plays it.
well, someone must have been smoking something when they decided that was actually
And they confused
boarding
drop
ship.
ship with boarding ship.
So yeah, it's as I like to call it now, the Proud Deemer hoplite. And so basically, yeah, we already covered that. I love the design. I love the aesthetic. I love the Final Fantasy spirits within motif. And but you know what?
Yep, there it is. I just checked the thing. Vanguard, Javelin, and Reclaimer are all Aegis. They make the best ships.
So yeah, basically, that one's already been covered. I think it's too pricey. I think it doesn't fit into the role that was specified. I love the design. I love the aesthetic. I love seeing other alien races and stuff coming in. So it's kind of a wash, good and bad. Bad being, I don't think it was what it was supposed to be. I mean, as far as what the function is.
Not what a lot of people thought it was, and the price point is ugh.
Yeah. So we got to see, of course, Herald Racing. Lightning here noticed something is that basically he couldn't see the thrusters firing and on the ship. It's possible the graphics weren't finished on that, and I noticed the same thing too looking at it again. So it's possible that's just something that that hasn't been finished yet as far as graphics are concerned.
Either really graphically or the flight mechanics or the models are not quite done yet, which might be why we're not seeing it right away.
Yeah, and then of course they did these rounds of space combat and arena commander. Now when you blow people up, the little orbs drop and you fly into the orbs, and that will actually refill your ammo. That's one of the things they added. And of course as well, they have a missile cam. If you hold down the fire missile button, like when you fire it, you hold it down, the camera will track the missile to its target, which is, that'd be nice if you're shooting at the last guy left, but I wouldn't use that in combat. This gets you killed.
I'm just going to remove my sense of perception and battlefield awareness to watch cool missile animations.
that showed up in like a little window. You got to watch it from like a window in a window. That'd be cooler. But or I come one of your screens, and then you wouldn't have to take your eyes off the combat. But
like on a 2D flat radar type screen.
Yeah. So of course, there was videos on that. You can watch the devs both race and fight each other, and boy, they need practice because these guys can't hit a target flying absolutely straight while using IM. I was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty bad.
And sadly, IM still exists in 2.6.
Yeah. That's another issue in and of itself. Well, maybe do another video later after the pipelines and stuff come in. We'll see. Of course, they showed Star Marine, and not all the functionality is in. We don't have the vaulting. We don't have the cover system in yet. And in my personal opinion, it looked great, but I still think the physical movement I feel is about 25%, maybe 30% too fast. It gives it that Call of Duty
feel. It felt like
feel.
Halo on highest
difficulty.
Not difficulty. When you go in, they can change your not slew rates, but like your camera speed, right?
Yeah.
Like in original Halo 1, I played at the maximum turn speed of 10.
Okay.
But in like Halo 2 and 3, I played at like 8 or something, so it was a little bit slower. But because I had the reaction time for that high paced stuff, and it kind of makes sense in the Halo universe. But we're not playing power armor, super soldier people with metal grafted onto their bones or anything. Well, we're just playing regular dudes.
And I think having slower movement would encourage actual use of cover, because you would be less willing to jump out in the open knowing that you could just quickly snap back around a corner. That's why I think that it needs to be slowed down a little bit.
Blind fire would be nice, so you can just blind fire around the corner if you have a certain weapon equipped.
Well, I know that's part of the cover system, and that's the thing, is that without that system in place, we're really, for the most part, looking at a relatively standard shooter experience. It's not until we see the vaulting, we see the cover mechanics, that you're going to start seeing things different. Also, people getting not just dead but wounded, so you can drag them off the field and heal them.
I didn't see anything as far as like stamina. Like right now in the game, you can sprint and like your breath will get heavy, and then like if you pull out your gun, it like wiggles all over the place. But I didn't see any of that in the Star Marine demo.
No, that's a good point. But Chris stated that there was a lot of systems that still aren't online. I think they're going to release it as it is, and they're going to go ahead and add systems as they finish developing them, which makes sense. I mean, everyone kind of wants to get their hands on something and play around with it, and I'm perfectly fine with them doing that. I think that's great. And of course,
the whole point of the little small test beds.
Yeah,
the little small box. Your 8x8 box.
Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. And of course, they gave us a schedule. Said they're going to be updating this every week. It's a schedule report, and I'll have the link down below. And basically, what that is, they gave a rough timeline of where things are headed, what time they're looking at, and they want looks like they want to have the 2.6 out uh, by the end of the month, by around the 23rd at the soonest on the PTU, and by like December 6th at the latest. And I would
I see
imagine
December 8th.
yeah, well, there's a couple different charts. So, I mean, there's a whole
Yeah.
bunch of different things. You can look at the link and kind of draw your own conclusions. There's like 2 or 3 different charts that show different timelines. But basically, yeah, there's a good amount of
And it
information
shows
here.
all the the avocado test periods when they're going to be playing it. So,
Yeah,
you know,
something along those lines. So it's got some good information here, and I hope they keep it up to date. I would like to see this kind of information provided to the backers. I don't need exact dates for them, but it's good to always have an idea of where they're standing. Like, hey, this is done, this isn't done, or this is completed on this date. And this is the kind of thing I think that will help calm down the community a lot. When they see some sort of indication of progress or whatnot, it kind of like they can go to the center and go, what are you guys doing? What's going on? And all this. So they just basically go, oh, okay, yeah, you're just working on this last thing, and then it should be ready to go. And I think that'll help. I think people get upset when they don't have a good amount of information. A part of open
especially
development.
with the amount of money some people have put into this game. When it's like, let's say you've bought an Idris, right? So you're $1,000+ into the game, and you just want to know what the fuck they're doing, right? And it's just like there's this, iron curtain pulled in front of you, and you're just like, "Hello, is anybody there?" And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like, "Oh, hey, we were working on this and this," but you only get that once a week with around the verse.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things that they said that they were going to do a while ago, but I'm glad it's finally, hopefully, becoming a reality. I think it's partially because they're getting close to the finishing point, and they just kind of want to get people as much information as possible. Now they've got a lot of the underlying systems done. There's still some systems that have to be worked, but for the most part, a lot of these systems are now done. So I think you're going to start seeing content and things come out at a quicker pace, which is apparent. When they on this on the page where I'm going to link down below for the upcoming schedule. They link the breakdowns as well of the next builds. The 3.0 all the way to 4.0 kind of thing. And so yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming out, and we're really kind of getting in the home stretch of things, and that's great. So for those who've been around for a while, this is really a good time to kind of see a lot of your ships that you purchased, you haven't had a chance to fly or been waiting for, things like that come online, new gameplay types, expansion of the universe, all sorts of good things. So really good presentation. Honestly, I think we got more information out of this overall than we did during CitizenCon.
Some of the stuff, like the 3.0 stuff, we already knew about because they talked
True.
about it in the CitizenCon.
True,
But it's all in like one place now.
yeah, but I mean, well, not just this page, but I mean overall, the whole presentation. It was we got to see a lot more of the little changes. We got to see them doing the flying. You can see some of the speeds on the ships if you watch the video of them flying around,
Yeah, because the
finding
new
each other.
afterburner is in.
Right, and yeah, and there was a note here that basically on this development page here that the things they're looking at working on is the faster your ship is going, the slower the rotation is going to be.
because
So
the ships turn so fast.
yeah. So, but
Stupid amounts of turning.
But I'm not against the mechanic like faster you're going, slower it turns, because that's anyone who's ever played a racing game knows the faster you go, the harder it is to make a corner.
Yeah,
and
and you can apply the same thing to space because you have more of your main engines thrusting, so there's less power to divert to your thrusters. Where in a car, you have less grip on the tires, and there's not as much, I guess grip. But there's another word I was trying to think of. But that's why you don't turn as fast in a car, because there's a lot of things acting outside.
Yeah. So this has been a really good week for information, guys. So I hope you found the ships that you wanted, or if you haven't found the ships you wanted, but when this comes out, then maybe they're coming in the next few days. So here's hoping.
Or check again, Saturday, November 26th for
Exactly.
the quote-unquote grand final.
Finale. Anyway.
Final finale, whatever. It's just freaking pronunciation.
Wow, you fail.
No,
Anyway,
you didn't.
all right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to this week's BlastCast, and as always, we will go ahead and try to keep you updated and basically always give you our honest thoughts about everything, good and bad. And we
New
will
ship variants are fucking retarded. Don't
See?
sell me the same ship add painting to the game. Don't sell me paint as a new ship.
See?
I'm sorry, that pisses me off.
You're ruining my outro, you know.
I know, because there's my honest opinion. I don't want to be sold a paint job.
Proof of concept right here, honesty. So, anyway, we'll catch you next time, guys. I'm gonna get out here before lightning explodes.
Don't buy paint jobs.
Bye-bye.